I tell y'all, can't stop you.
You work too hard for this shit, man.
Work too hard.
Hey, Alabama,
They finna
Now free my boys, man.
don't
They
worry.
finna come get you, big sir. They can't get my nigga a break around this hoe.
Montana 700, a name that echoed through South Dallas, and now through federal court. The rapper who built his career on keeping it real just got hit with federal charges. We're talking conspiracy to distribute, possession with intent, the whole playbook. Prosecutors say he wasn't just rapping about moving pounds. They claim he was actually doing it. And here's the thing, this case didn't come out of nowhere. The feds had been watching, building a case that connects back to his right-hand man, Zillionaire Doe. What started as street fame and rap clout just became a federal indictment that could put him away for decades. To understand Montana 700, you gotta understand where he came from. South Dallas, not the gentrified part, not the tourist spots, the real South Dallas.
So where you from?
Woodtown, Oak Cliff.
The kind of neighborhood where making it to 18 is an accomplishment. Montana didn't have much growing up, but what he did have was survival instincts. See, in his hood, hustling wasn't a choice. It was the blueprint. You either figured out how to flip something, stack something, or you got left behind. By the time he was a teenager, Montana was already deep in it, making real money, building a name, earning respect the hard way. But that kind of life, it comes with a price. And the police, they were watching. Montana wasn't like everybody else on the block. He had presence, confidence, the kind of energy that made people pay attention. He wasn't moving in silence. Nah, Montana was loud with it, unapologetic, bold, and people respected that. His name started ringing bells beyond his own neighborhood, beyond his own circle. What people didn't know then was that this fearlessness, this raw authenticity, it was going to be his greatest asset and his biggest liability. Because the same reputation that would launch his rap career, that same reputation was putting him on a different kind of radar. Somewhere along the line, Montana realized he could turn his life into lyrics. The flipping, the raids, the cash runs, all of it became content. And when he started recording, people felt it immediately. His music wasn't manufactured. It wasn't industry polish. It was documentation. Fans believed every word because they could see him living it in real time. That's what made him different. That authenticity is what connected. But here's the problem with being that real. When your art mirrors your life that closely, it stops being just entertainment. It becomes evidence. The streets loved Montana, but the feds? They were taking notes. Every flashy post, every lyric, every public appearance, it was all being cataloged. See, this is how federal investigations work. They're not rushed. They're not sloppy. They watch, they record, they build. Montana was walking a tightrope he didn't even know existed. On one side, street loyalty and the respect he'd earned. On the other, a rap career that could change his life. What he didn't realize was that every move he made was tightening the case against him. Those early decisions, the ones that felt like survival, they were laying the foundation for what's happening now. The transition from the block to the booth wasn't overnight, but it was organic. Montana's early tracks were raw. Grainy visuals, real stories, no filter. You'd see him posted up with his crew, money spread out, living exactly what he was rapping about. And it worked. His music started spreading through Dallas, then online, then everywhere. His credibility was undeniable. Linking up with Zillionaire Doe only amplified his reach. But it also amplified something else. Federal attention. Because when you're connected to someone already under surveillance, you inherit that spotlight. And the feds don't forget. As Montana's career grew, so did the production value. Bigger videos, flashier cars, more jewelry, coded imagery that fans decoded as street anthems. But the feds? They decoded it differently. To them, it wasn't art, it was confession. Every video, every bar, every flex became another piece of their puzzle. Montana was blurring lines he couldn't afford to blur. And yeah, his talent was undeniable. Industry people were starting to pay attention. Opportunities were opening up. But that real-life persona, the one that got him here, it kept law enforcement glued to his every move. The higher he climbed in rap, the deeper the feds dug into his past. Then came the moment it all became official.
I tell y'all, can't stop you.
You work too hard for this shit, man.
Work too hard.
Hey, Alabama,
They finna
Now free my boys, man.
don't
They
worry.
finna come get you, big sir. They can't get my nigga a break around this hoe.
Montana 700's name appeared in federal court documents, and the charges were heavy. Conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, possession with intent to distribute, interstate trafficking. The feds were claiming he was part of a multi-state pipeline, moving weight across borders. This wasn't some local bust. This was coordinated federal-level enforcement. The investigation reportedly started after a series of raids that turned up drugs, cash, weapons, and digital devices. And the connection? Zillionaire Doe's operation, Montana's ties to that block, those people, those networks. It all became the thread the feds pulled to unravel the whole case. So what exactly do the feds have on Montana? Let's break it down. First, wiretaps, recorded conversations where his name allegedly came up in coded language. Then, informants, people from his own circle, facing their own time, who reportedly cooperated in exchange for lighter sentences. Financial records showing unexplained deposits, cash flow that didn't match his music income, all lining up with trafficking timelines. And then, the most controversial part. Social media, music videos, lyrics. The feds are using his own art against him, pointing to bars about moving weight, visuals showing stacks and product. In court, they're not calling it artistic expression, they're calling it evidence. It went down pre-dawn. Federal agents, armored vehicles, task force ready. The kind of raid you see in movies. Except this was real life. Multiple people got detained, and Montana was taken into custody without resistance. They seized firearms, large amounts of cash, phones, hard drives, everything. In court, prosecutors didn't hold back. They labeled him a flight risk, a danger to the community. Bail denied. Now Montana sits behind bars, facing charges that could add up to decades. The same guy who was performing sold-out shows just months ago, now staring down a federal conviction rate that hovers above 90%. Why Montana? Why now? Let's be clear, this wasn't random. The feds don't move unless they think they can make a statement. Montana's visibility made him a perfect target. He was influential, he had reach, and his authenticity, the same thing that made fans love him, made the case easier to build. His ties to Zillionaire Doe and other known networks sealed it. Add in the lifestyle versus income discrepancy, the flashy spending that didn't line up with streaming royalties, and you've got red flags everywhere. Then there's his lyrics, his online presence, all treated as admissions of guilt. And his neighborhood? It had a history. Pattern of raids, pattern of arrests. The feds saw Montana as a key piece to dismantling a larger network. So they made him an example. Montana 700's story is the double-edged sword of authenticity. The realness that built his brand, that earned him respect, that gave him a platform. It's the same realness that's now being used to lock him up. The federal government is holding up his lyrics, his lifestyle, his image, and saying, this is evidence. And with a federal conviction rate over 90%, Montana's facing an uphill battle most people don't win. His case is a reminder of how quickly art and reality can collide in hip-hop, how the line between performance and confession can disappear when the feds get involved. Right now, Montana 700 sits in a cell, waiting for trial. A talented artist, a street legend. And now, a cautionary tale. The price of keeping it too real might just be everything.